leading into our main event, why that's so important. Like, to me, one of our biggest struggle with the Darby Allin championship run is everybody's getting in this 80 to 90%, 80 to 90% offense, man. It's like against Darby, right? They just dominate Darby throughout the match. And it's our lead writer, Bonds, has really struggled with, well, when that happens all the time, it weakens the importance of that, like the competitor. Who, if the same formula plays out, whether it's Jungle Boy or JD Drake, it's going to bother me as a viewer. And there, that was an example of, in the Christian match, I could see a loss playing a role that really helped the competitor shine. Now, and this was an example where I feel like I was so excited about Darby versus Jungle Boy because I felt like this was a match that could break the mold that we've gotten used to.
Right.
And that's where you get to really see Darby tested and pushed to showcase more offense. He had an opportunity to be in control a little bit more. This match felt like a 50-50 match of two equals, which was nice, rather than a match of, that was 90-10 to his opponent. That was my big thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly right. We agree that Darby matches are a 90% getting your butt whooped and then 10% comeback finish. This was great because more ground and pound, more methodical, not having to really use the weapons. Like they're seeing eye to eye right here. Jungle Boy is an outstanding wrestler. He is probably one of the more underrated wrestlers, and JR always says it. You will see gold around his waist. You will see gold around his waist, and we know it because he is just a workhorse. Like we talk about workhorses, in stables. He is one that has stood out time and time again every time he's in a singles match. He's very impressive. He surprises you a lot of times, like we did tonight. And he was a very believable person to potentially tap out Darby tonight. And Darby did for his credit, obviously Darby gets beat up a lot. We talk about being a crash test dummy a lot of times, but he did a great job selling Jungle Boy's strengths that were, appropriate to his size and appropriate to the holds and all that. So props to Darby. I think this was, you said it with one of Joey Janela match, but I think this is probably one of the better Darby matches we've seen in a long time. And the fans really got a treat for main event, back-to-back main events by Darby Allin, and then consistent after-match shenanigans with this whole feud, man. There's a lot of stuff going on, but for the match itself, I mean, we have an elite clean sweep, it seems like, for this match. And, typically
the whole show,
no knock on AEW, but sometimes those live shows cannot run as smooth as their tape shows, and this one ran really, really smooth. Props to them. All matches were great. They didn't run out of time. It was perfectly placed. I think the card flowed really well. This match was really, really a home run and great pairing. And we want to see more. We want to see more opponents against Darby that fit his methodical, slower ground and pound stuff, like Jungle Boy. Like we could see a Ricky Starks,
Absolutely.
I think that would be so much more. Absolutely, Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So what did you think of all this stuff? Like the match and then afterwards?
I want to jump in because, the more that I see what AEW is doing now, and now they're writing on the wall with where you can tell with the post-match stuff, I think AEW sees what we see, SPD. I think that, we're obviously diehard wrestling fans, but I get a lot of respect for Tony Khan, and I think that the team and AEW management sees what we see. That's why it's no coincidence that Darby's got, his title defense is, John Silver, Scorpio Sky.
Great match.
Now with Jungle Boy, he's starting to get put against guys who are more in his wheelhouse as far as, competitors that are presented as equals. We've seen some of those along the way where, I think, and this is no offense to the Machine Brian Cage, because I'm a huge advocate of his. I love what he can do, but the visual between him and Darby, that and it was a long feud between him and Darby, that David versus Goliath it set a pattern that I felt like was putting Darby down the wrong path. I love Darby's, never say die, kind of that, like almost that masochist aspect of his character.
Yep.
But I worry about, that wearing thin and hurting his credibility long term. And I think that, the more that they have opportunities where he gets put in the ring with guys like this who push him and who allow him to show that he can go, the better. I think that, we see now Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are back in the mix now.
Yeah.
Scorpio lost that match, and he's still got sour grapes about that. And I think that Ethan Page is clearly showing this guy's got the look. He's got a lot of confidence. He can talk on the mic like as well as anybody. He's very confident on the mic. And he's kind of like one of those guys who's felt like a little bit of an outsider in the AEW landscape, right? I mean, he's new. He's a new signing. And he could be presented as a big deal. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of big matches on Dynamite yet where you get an opportunity to really tell, where is this guy falling in the AEW landscape? Is he a top guy? Is he a mid-card guy? Where is he? And I think that, when he gets this opportunity against Darby, we're going to really see that. I think in his wrestling style, he's going to have some size on Darby, but I think that it's also going to be a nice matchup where it's not going to be a Brian Cage versus Darby where he's just getting tossed around. Even the JD Drake match, Darby was just getting bodied. So I think it'll be really nice to see him go against somebody who's kind of like, an all-around good performer in the ring with all ego. I wonder where it's going to go. Lance Archer, again, got involved at the end and pushed those guys away, and that was fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
Lance, it feels inevitable, doesn't it, that he becomes he challenges Darby at some point? I mean, don't you feel like it's only a matter of time where he gets a title shot? It's got to happen, don't you feel like?
It's so hard to predict what's going on with Lance. One minute you think he's a foe of them, or Sting and Darby, and then the next it's a friend.
I know.
But, we kind of saw some rumors down the rumor mill, and, Miro's promo really quick about whoever's wearing gold, I'm coming for you.
Who do you think he challenges?
But, I mean, it would be fitting and appropriate, and I think best character direction if he challenges Darby and just demolishes him. You can't put him against. I don't think it makes any sense for him to go against Kenny and lose, because whoever Kenny defends, Kenny's not losing. So if he put in just a complete whooping on Darby and then takes the title, or if he faces Darby and puts a whooping and then someone like stops the match and just stops the beatdown because it's so bad. Darby is one to take. We talk about punishment, and Miro is one to dish it. So no better person to dish out punishment and take the punishment than Darby Allin and Miro. So
maybe it's a pipe dream for me too, dude. Like maybe it's just a pipe dream, but like he didn't specify gold. Like he just said, if you have gold, like I'm coming for it, man. I would love to see him go after the FTW title. I mean, you got a guy like Miro, that mentality that he has, for him to finally like call out like a Brian Cage and kind of say like, you don't even care about this anymore. Like, no wonder why the group is falling apart. I don't know. I just think that like, and for Miro, for Miro to have a dominant, impressive victory against somebody like a Darby Allin, that would go a long way in establishing his character, even in his credibility more. But I think that he's going to break Kip Sabian in half. I think he's going to chew him up and spit him out. I want to see Miro in a match with an equal. I want to see Miro as a big fella against another big dude. I want to see that. I want to see that battle of the hosses, and I want Miro to not back down from a big fella. I want that side of Miro to come out. I don't know. I think that we've seen Miro go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest, baddest dudes in the world and in the history of professional wrestling when we date back throughout his career. It would make sense for Miro to step his game up and go after, and call somebody out, man. I want that to happen sooner than later. I wonder who it could be. Again, Cage would be a great as far as size and athleticism. Somebody, again, he and Miro are two big guys who have the motor. I would love to see that happen. And it would give Miro something to do. I mean, it would give Brian Cage something to pivot towards too. Obviously, I'm fantasy booking here. My opinion,
sure.
my opinion here, I think that like the Miro promo was exactly what it needed to be. I know that Bonds, I can't wait to read his article tomorrow because I know Bonds is going to be salivating at another example of pure hyped, pure angry Miro. Angry Miro is
Angry
the best
Miro is
Miro.
Yes,
that is the best Miro. So I'm excited about that. I think that we're ready to see another championship contender emerge in the landscape of AEW.
Right.
And the aftermath, SPD, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why AEW continues to bring in those viewers, man. When you have a storyline where this one ended, you had a great championship match with Jungle Boy and Darby, who are two young superstars that are emerging. But then you have characters all interacting with that. I mean, you get Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, you get Lance Archer, you have Sting. I mean, there's so much there, dude. And that's so captivating as a viewer.